Hello everyone, welcome back to Theonopolis. In the first time I show you guys the whole park and all its flaws that I generally hide from you guys. And I also didn't plan for this to be the 30th episode of Theonopolis, but it went this way and yeah, we're just going to roll with it. Let's just say that this was planned and that is like an anniversary, because I think the park is like 3-4 months old right now. Yeah, that's the train. I like to just have the park on play, just so you can hear all the noise I get when I'm building. Because yeah, I like to build with the park on play. And you might already have two questions. The main one is probably going to be, what the hell is this area? Because you guys haven't seen this area. But I'm going to keep that area lost, because with this overview I plan to go from like what we built first and what we built last. And then basically we go clockwise. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the second question is probably, why doesn't the Pharaohs have a roof? That's just draw distance. It does have a roof. Let me show you guys immediately. Boom, roof. But anyway, yeah. There has been some changes, but let's start off with the most boring place and the most boring area that hasn't seen any change. The Acropolis. Yeah, this place hasn't changed any bit. Maybe like a bit of lighting. But I do plan with like my slight advancement in skill to just, well, first off destroy this temple. I still don't like this temple. Yeah. This temple I really like. I don't know why I don't really like it. It's probably because it's not a sea of pillars. Yeah, that's probably the reason. But since this place hasn't changed much, I think we can move on pretty quickly to the main street area, which I'm going to say is this area with Bromius. I think Bromius is like part of the main street because it just like it clicks right into it. Main Street has seen some areas that has changed. Mostly, if you are here from like the first few episodes of Theonopolis, you might already spot one major change. Well, except for Bromius, but we talk about Bromius later, because Bromius has traumatized me, and I like to say that every episode. But if you can spot the difference, I'm going to give you like 5 seconds. Yeah, I don't have the patience for that. The main difference that you will see is that all the lanterns have gone. That's mainly because I didn't really like the lighting, or the color of the lighting, because the color of those lanterns were really yellow and I didn't really like that. So most of the lighting that you see here is actually turned off. Yeah. So that's the one thing that's kinda good at Planet Coaster, is that even if you turn these off, it still looks like they have lighting, like they still look turned on. I might actually, yeah, I like to hide the interface. If you go in that, these all look turned on. None of them are. That was a really fun time, turning off every light. Well, except these ones, because these are like 10 pieces each. Yeah, I'm going to find a way to fix this. Whoa. Oh, autosave, of course. I thought Planet Coaster was about to crash. But back into daytime, because... no. Hiding the interface again, because I don't like to see that. But beyond that, I also immediately have to clarify, yes, I do use... well, I need to get the interface back again. I really don't like it. But I do use a camera effect, which is just... yeah, it basically just makes all of it a little bit more brown. Mostly because the foliage or the plants in Planet Coaster are mostly on the bluish side of green, and I'd like it to be more on the yellowish side of green. I'm going to quickly show you then also... yeah. Yeah, I make those sounds when something doesn't go my way. But this is really how it looks like without it. It just looks a little bit, yeah, it just looks more blue. So the buildings I think aren't heavily affected, it's mostly just blends. So let's get that out of the way, hide the interface again, and let's talk about what traumatized me. Yeah, this place, or Bromius, just traumatized me. Because I might have, well, I probably said this in every episode since Bromius was released. This place was built in 5 days, mostly at 3 AM in the morning. Yeah, my brain just thought, let's build at 3 AM in the morning, let's not give this guy any sleep. But I really like how it turned out. Like with the promenade, or I don't know how to call it. I just call it promenade, because it's high, it's straight, and it shows off the cube. And I do have one thing that I want to quickly say. Why do I make the biggest and most, grand building a toilet building? Like this would be like a really great looking hotel. No, let's make it a toilet. I don't know what went into me there, but I just like to keep it that way. I mean, it's blue. When I think of blue, I think of water and I think of a toilet. Also, I merely want to show you guys, like, I show you guys this when I make a screenshot, or, well, not this, because I show you guys this. And what I know, and that's why I probably stay humble about the park or so, is this side. The completely unfinished side of Theonopolis. Yeah, you might have seen this already, and you might have seen that side of the library when the POV was released. I do plan to, like, whenever, like, whole of Theonopolis is done, which is probably going to take 5 years by now, I plan to make, like, all new POVs with just, everything done, no raw edges anymore. This is also the best segue to just go into the Agora area. Well, first off, the beach. Yeah, I have a great tendency now to make beaches. But this is my favorite place now in Theonopolis. Mainly because if I get the camera just right, but the camera never likes me, so that's going to be annoying. But from the right angle you see the main street, you see the library, you see the assembly house, and you see a little bit of the Acropolis. Yeah, this is my place if I want to freak out. Yeah, a lot of weird memories in this place. Yeah, for some reason I really just like to build beaches right now. Also, this is going to be a restaurant. Toilet building is probably going to be the grandest building again. And then I will forget the restaurant. Yeah, it's just a nice way to blend the edges of like urban, nature, or rural, urban. Just have like tiny buildings in between to blend it in. The Agora, because let's continue, otherwise this is going to be a 30-minute overview of the whole place. Yeah, this is probably going to be that. If it's not, there's some miracle happening. But the Agora hasn't seen that much change. Well, it has seen one big change. The dark white that was planned for the Great Library, which was going to go like here, go here, probably in the area of Bromius now stands, and come back. Yeah, that's just scrapped. Because I'm not going to scrap Bromius. Like, I've built that. I've been traumatized for that. I'm not going to destroy that for dark white. That was already very tight on space. So, yeah, this is another place where, like, this is completely unfinished. But I just show you this side. Like, I think I took a screenshot once here. There is some sound effects somewhere hidden here, because those market sounds are somewhere there. But yeah, you might have noticed that I called this place the Agora area and not the Agora/harbor area, because the harbor has become bigger. Like, I think the Pharaohs might be like part of the harbor area. So the harbor area right now is until like, yeah, this is not a new building. This is just another version and another version of the library, because I built those there. Don't know why anymore, because Well, actually it was probably because back then my PC wasn't as great. So if I tried to build here, it would just be a lag fest. So I would always build there. But yeah, the harbor is pretty big right now. That is if you consider the Pharaohs part of the harbor. Again, roof disappears. But the Agora hasn't, except for like the cancellation of the dark rites, hasn't changed much. It's pretty stagnant. Like, nothing has really changed. I still plan to make this like a whole market area with like all kinds of stalls. And yeah, that's pretty much the only plan I still have for the Agora. That the Agora is going to not have many rides. Like it has only one ride in here right now. But beyond that, it's just going to be the food court of the entire park. Then you have, of course, the Rod of Poseidon, which has actually seen one change, because this area was once like a ruined village. Yeah, it's not anymore, clearly. I still need to figure out what it's going to be, but yeah, this thing, this, what was the name of it? Oh, right, if I click on it, the interface goes, yeah, it isn't named. No building in my park is named. If anyone names their buildings, kudos to you. I just build it, forget about the name, and then move on. But yeah, this is just temporary. I really need to find out what to do with this area, because I just didn't like the ruined village. Like, it was... I can honestly say the ruined village that I built here was the crappiest build I ever built. Yeah. So I'm going to find something different that ties these areas together instead of disrupts the flow. Then to the first custom build I made, which is Scylla. And yeah, this place is dear to me because it's my first build, but I can also like nowadays see that it's like, it's really crappy. Like, I can do so much better right now. I mean, yeah, I'm going to draw a reference later on when we get to that area. But I have figured out, or just recently figured out, that you can actually, from this pier, you can see one side my latest custom building, the Pharaohs, and then if the camera likes me, which it never does. But then on the other side you have my first attempt at making a custom building. Yeah, you can clearly see how much things have changed. This all because of Verdian. Like, Verdian is really the park where I just experimented a lot. Another great segue to go to the Pharaohs. Yeah, this is really just right after, well, not completely right after, but almost right after we just finished this part of the island. Yeah, you can clearly see that it's like, this area is a bit done, this area is a bit done, this area is not done, this area is not done, and I still need to bring life to the place. Yeah. Also, I quickly want to mention, because I just want to mention, these things are actually way too big. These stalls are just way too big. But let's quickly forget about that. And... ooh, do you mind? Yeah, I really like to have the park on play, because, again, you guys hear what I hear constantly when I'm building, because, yeah, I'm weirdly just want to have the park on play. I want to hear those sounds. But in our view, might not be the greatest thing, but this is like the biggest, well, not the biggest, but the best way to say this is how I built. But here is the tree that I spent 20 minutes on. Yeah, 20 minutes on this single tree. Because I didn't want the tree to be like obscuring this, or the portcullis, or not portcullis, but just the entrance. But I did want something just, you know, spiking out, because it doesn't have that on this side. And it's also, if you can see it, you can see that there's more nature on this side than on that side, which with this harbor area is logical. But it's also just like, yeah, that's just a not as used area, and it's also kind of like framing, like, Yeah, I can't really explain it in words. I just wanted this to have like a line going upwards when it came to nature. Mr. Train. It like, again, not planned, but anyone who plays Assassin's Creed wants to just, you know, see this as like a secret way to get into the Pharaohs. That's just constantly what I thought. Like, go on this ship, which clearly isn't Grecian, but I can't build ships for the life of me. Like, these are from the workshop. I think I said somewhere when I like created the harbor area where these ships were from, or who made these ships. I don't remember now, so I'm really sorry. But I just, you know, when I see this, I want to like climb on it, jump here, climb on the Pharaohs, and then climb on here and, you know, go over this rope. Yep, rope. And then, yeah. Wasn't planned, but later I found out that I just really wanted to do that. I do see why some people say like, this gives me words today, but this gives me Assassin's Creed vibes. Like, I can see a million ways where you're like free running through this place. Also with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And can I draw it out any longer going to the new area? Oh yeah, we have the Oracle. Yeah, you see the train dying there. I have to fix that. But again, you can really see the difference. Like, this is basically a bit of the same, well, structure or shape as Scylla, but you can clearly see that this is just a nice round roof instead of the janky thing that Scylla is. I'm not going to remove Scylla. That's like the first attempt. Like, you know, if I look at Scylla and look at this, I can clearly see how I slowly advanced. But right now, I can't. Well, I can ramble on for about 30 minutes longer before we go there, but I think most of you will click away then. But yeah, the new area. This, like, none of this, you guys have never seen this probably. Well, maybe like in like the background when I built the island. Yeah, the island. Because then I started building here. But for the new, yeah, it's a coaster, and you guys knew how I built Bromius. Like, I'm not going to say that story again, but I just like to build coasters off screen. Mostly because I spent most of the time at 3 AM building them. Yeah. I have no clue why, but let's move on. It's just a kind of a basic dive coaster. Like, for me, the coasters are never the most important thing when I build. Always it's like 2% coaster, 98% theming, buildings and everything. Yeah, and I also tried the new whip. I'm really just enthralled by this music right now. I should stop dancing. Anyway, this is probably like the second Acropolis or the first Acropolis. Yeah, probably the first. Like, this one was the first one, and then when Theonopolis became wealthier and bigger, they moved on to this one. And yeah, the Acropolis is not going to be much bigger than this. So that already proves that point that like first one, second one. The second one is always bigger. Or at least the second attempt. So beyond that, yeah, I'm going to delay this blocky building for a bit. But I really like that's the one thing I always keep in mind is like, what's the view? Like, if you are like, yeah, camera doesn't like me. If you are in line for Bromius, well, not in line, but if you are about to go in line for Bromius, you can already see the other coaster. And from, I don't know where the line is going to be, but it's going to be somewhere around here. You can see the top of that coaster and a little bit of the wooden coaster. Yeah, that is the wooden coaster, I wasn't incorrect. But I just really like the view. Just that high drop tower. Like, I really debated long where it's... Whoa. I just really looked at the footage and I just saw everything freeze. I was really scared it was going to crash. But anyway, I really just was for a long time debating whether the coaster should be here or further back. But yeah, it's just not this nice view. And I think you can call this a boulevard or something, but it's going to stop here. Like, I like this view because it's like the main streets, but beyond here it's like this is going to be a more rural area, this is going to be a more palace filled area. So yeah, the boulevard is going to stop there. How long can I draw it out for before going to the dark ride? No longer? Okay. Well, someone in my last video asked like if I'm going to do anything with Medusa, and yeah, a certain snake lady is in here. You might already see that it's like, yeah, it doesn't really fit the usual feel you get when Medusa is talked about. Like, you would think more about like ruined temples and everything, and you will get your fill of that when it came to ruined temples and just destruction and agony. But I have teased this place, I think, for like 3 months right now. Like, ever since we finished the main street and went into the harbor Agora area, I have teased that place. It's still not done. Like, although in the last month it has seen a lot of changes or a lot of additions, because this entire area was built in like a day. Yeah. So the ride itself is actually completely done. It's just, you know, the facades I think that I need to do. But the chance is high that I will do that now because we are building here. I'm not going to show you guys any of this building though, because again, I like to build coasters off screen. So whenever this drops, or whenever, you know, I put the POV of this coaster online, I might be working on that. But I'm going to leave the overview there because I don't want to spoil much of the dark ride. So this is basically Theonopolis with all its raw, unfinished edges. I really hope you liked the overview. If you do, I hope to see you back in my, well, basically on my building rambles. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye bye!